What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. The S&P 500 led the way today in the markets, up about 0.9%, just under 1%. So the markets had a pretty good day today. The Dow was up about 0.5%, and the NASDAQ was also up about 0.5%. So in this video, we're going to go over all of the plays that we're watching in the market for tomorrow. We're going to go over all of the news that happened in the market today. We have some pretty interesting news today. So we saw marijuana stocks like CGC rocket up just under 14%. So we have some interesting but a little kind of weird news in regards to this run up. But we're also going to be talking about the jobless claims and just basically everything that's happening in the market, especially with airline stocks. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video to hear everything we had to say tonight. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe to see our daily videos on our YouTube homepage every single day. But let's get right into it, Tom.
Yeah, CNBC reports that American Airlines, without additional stimulus, will cut flights to more U.S. cities, their CEO says. He says, "We can't continue to wait. If forced to, of course, we will indeed discontinue service to a lot of markets." And his name's Parker. His comments came shortly after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejected the idea of a standalone aid package for airlines unless part of a broader stimulus. So they're not going to do any standalone package to help airlines. At least Pelosi's unwilling to cooperate with that. So it's kind of crazy that you can see that American Airlines did actually fall a little bit off of this news today. But the overall market did not move too much off of this. It was more of just the airlines that moved off this, but it's just bad news for airlines overall. And they might have to actually, cut, the flights, and actually, they were talking about a lot of unemployment stuff lately too. So I could see that happening also.
Yeah, I mean, with the news, the airline stocks really didn't take too much of a beating. Like American Airlines, they're actually up today. They're up about 0.65%. Southwest is up over 1%. United is up 1.7%. Delta is up about 1.65%. So, given the news, the stocks didn't really suffer too bad. Like they did fall initially once that news came out, but at the end of the day, it really wasn't that bad. What else happened today?
Yep, the overall market was green despite the news with Pelosi, and that was really the big topic today. A lot of headlines like at CNBC and Market Watch, they all said that the market's green despite what Pelosi said. And like you said, it didn't seem like it affected the airlines too much, so I wouldn't see why it would affect the overall market too much if it didn't affect the airlines. But CNBC also says that investors digested the latest U.S. weekly jobless claims data on Thursday, which showed an additional 840,000 Americans filed for unemployment benefits for the first time, and economists polled by Dow Jones expected there to only be 825,000. So it was pretty even, but it's still weird to see that there's that many people filing for unemployment, at least for the first time. That's 840,000 people who filed for unemployment the very first time. That's not people who have continued to do it for months and months on end.
Yeah, so we can see that the numbers came in at 840,000, and there was only an expectation of 825,000. So obviously more people filed for unemployment than expected. It's not a good sign. However, it's not like we saw 1 million people file for unemployment when we were expecting 825,000. Like we're only 15,000 off. So it's not good, but it could be a lot worse. So initially, it wasn't the best for the markets, but the market didn't really move too much off of that news either. So the market fully digested the jobless claims data, and it still had a pretty strong day. And like I said earlier, the S&P 500 actually had the best day out of the Dow and the NASDAQ. And normally we always see the NASDAQ lead the way. These tech stocks are just crazy. They're powerhouses, but we're starting to see some of those more stable companies in the S&P 500 starting to pop back up a little bit. So I think that's pretty interesting to see, especially with bank stocks. So bank stocks had a pretty good day today. We look at Goldman Sachs up about 2%, JP Morgan also up 2%, and Bank of America up about 1.5%. So it looks like bank stocks are still consolidating, but they had a pretty good day today. What do you think with bank stocks?
Yeah, they look really good actually. I'm happy with how they closed too. I'm surprised that they came back up to their highs, especially like with JP Morgan. You can see that they kind of had a little tank in the middle of the day, and then I cannot believe that they recovered all the way back up. That's pretty strong, and it just has me looking at almost calls in the morning potentially if they can hold these highs.
Yeah. And then, Tom, I'm sure a lot of people already have looked at this today, but CGC is up just under 14% today. It had a great day in the market yesterday and an even better day today. What is going on with this company?
Yeah, that's actually because last night, Vice President candidate Kamala Harris actually
Kamala?
said Kamala Harris
Oh, I
said
think it's Kamala.
Oh, it is. Okay, I said it right the first time almost then. So Kamala Harris said that the Biden administration would decriminalize marijuana at the debate last night, and that's actually really good for marijuana stocks. And I mean, these are Canadian marijuana stocks, but just keep in mind that if the United States is able to open up their markets, that there will be a lot of importing from Canada into the US with this.
Yeah, so CGC ran up off of the news that Tom just said. Obviously, it can be great for this company, you know, as they are in the marijuana business, but also stocks like CGC tend to run up a lot off of hype. So, you know, they'll have a good catalyst, right? Like they had this week, but they will also run up just because of just kind of like how Tesla runs up. So like, for example, Tesla might report good news, right? That, you know, they have better than expected sales. You know, that's just a random catalyst, and they might run up for the next, you know, 10 days, right? And CGC is kind of like that. Once it starts to get some momentum, it has a lot of power to keep on going. So we can see like back in, I would say March 20th, it had a really nice bounce there, but also if you look on April 24th, ran for a couple days, and even on May 15th, that thing ran for about 2 weeks, and it was a pretty big run up. Yeah, so like normally when it has this type of setup, it normally continues for a couple days, but just as fast as it's going up, it could also turn around and go down. But I think it's just interesting and worth pointing out, considering that they are up just under 14%. And normally when it has this type of setup, it does continue. So keep an eye on it, but it is a very volatile stock. The implied volatility is just under 100%. So the options are kind of expensive. In the stock itself is pretty volatile. So let's keep
Yeah, and
that
it's
in
pretty
mind.
cool. It's actually bouncing off of a long-term support as well at $15. If we go all the way back to when they IPO'd in like around the beginning of 2016, you can see that they hit around $15 and it's just bounced off of it about 4 times now. So that's great to see that news right as they're bouncing off of that as well.
Yep, awesome. So now let's get into our Discord member of the day. So today's Discord member of the day is Mitchell. So he made a great post yesterday, Tom. So Mitchell said, "Great call out by Tom. Thank you guys. I decided to take profits quick. I've been on this Discord for about a week and still looking to learn more." So Tom is pulling up his screenshot and it looks like he made around $300 on Tom's day trade yesterday. So like we already said this yesterday, great job, Tom, with that call out, but also great job, Mitchell, with being disciplined to take profits quickly. A lot of people are just swinging for home runs on every play, and just great job being disciplined and taking profits while you have them. You know, an 18% profit in less than 30 minutes is amazing. You know, even an 18% profit on the day is amazing. So great job with that, and keep up you know, the discipline strategy, and great job with that. So now for our momentum plays for tomorrow, and the first one is CGC. Tom, what levels should we be watching?
Yeah, the big level for CGC is going to be 1775, and if they break that, then watch for 18.
All right. So like we said, this is a, like, normally when it has this setup, it normally continues, but it's a very volatile stock. So just watch out for it. Guys, just be careful. Like if this thing like gaps up a ton, if this thing's like at like $19 or like $18.50 or just something crazy in pre-market, just be careful of it falling at open, because sometimes what happens is a stock like this where it's up 13.5%, it'll run up so much in pre-market and it'll actually fall when the market opens. So just be careful for that. With the next momentum play, we have ExxonMobil, XOM. What should we be watching?
Make them break above 35.50, and this looks like a pretty bullish setup, and it's just really riding that 1,000 SMA right now, and that's pretty good to see.
Yeah, it exploded today. Like even if we look at Chevron, CVX, it also had a pretty big day. And then you were talking about crude oil futures earlier too, right?
Yeah, crude oil was just looking fantastic today. Like I just cannot believe it. I mean, all night long and this morning, crude oil just killed it. And you can see that it's actually about to break the highs again. It still looks pretty bullish to me right now. And I don't know what's causing this, but crude oil has a lot of factors, especially with the Middle East and pretty much a factor with every country. So it's just one of those international things. And crude oil has been doing a really weird actually movements on the daily chart. You can see it whenever those futures almost went to $0, you can see it looks really weird how it went down to $6 per barrel right there and came all the way back up to 40. So it's just more weird movement out of crude oil. And honestly, I could see it still going up.
Yeah, so I just looked at the news very briefly on Thinkorswim, and I saw a couple articles saying it's going up because of the hurricane, and also offshore oil output will be cut by 92%. So that's just a very brief analysis, but that's probably why it's going up. With the next momentum play, we have AMAT.
AMAT, make them pop above 62.80.
All right, and then last but not least, JP Morgan, so JPM.
JP Morgan, make them break above 102.
And this one is a potential earnings runner. They do have earnings next week. So with earnings plays, normally we do not like to be in before the stock reports earnings. It's great to play the run up before earnings and the run up after, but you don't want to be in like for the earnings release. So for example, like let's say they report tomorrow. They don't report tomorrow, but let's just say they did. Tom and I would almost never get in the play and hold it overnight while they report the earnings release, because anything can happen with earnings. They can give great numbers, but a bad outlook and the stock can still fall, and vice versa. So normally we don't hold through earnings. We like to play the run up beforehand and after earnings is reported. So this is kind of like a pre-earnings run up setup that we're watching. JP Morgan, so CGC, ExxonMobil, AMAT, and then JP Morgan. We're all eyeing to the upside tomorrow, only if they can break above the levels Tom listed. And if they do break above those levels, we are eyeing them for quick in and out day trades. So great job with that. And now let's get into the unusual options activity for tomorrow. And we are looking at the Facebook 270 strike call options that expire next Friday, October 16th. So there was about $2.18 million put into this trade today. Looking at Facebook, it had a pretty strong day, up about 2.2%. It was holding its highs. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. And considering that the option expires next week, I mean, I think this setup looks pretty decent. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if we, run up a little bit sometime between now and next Friday with Facebook. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. It's actually trading above all the SMAs today. That normally shows pretty good growth. And you can see that generally, whenever it pops above those SMAs, it does like to run. And Facebook is just one of those stocks that if you look on the daily chart, it's one of those stocks that it kind of looked like it was going to pull back and then maybe keep running back up. So that's what I'm going to be looking for is, this is being almost a slight bullish flag set up on a daily chart. And if we do see a green day tomorrow, then that would confirm to me that this would be a bullish flag.
Awesome. All right. So now for our comments from the previous episode. With the first comment, we have DTU saying, another great show. What do you guys think about INO? They currently have a FDA partial hold. How are the technicals? So let's take a look. He said INO.
Okay.
So Tom, what do you think about the technicals on this stock?
That's kind of funny he says that because I have not looked at this stock in a long time, but you can see I have some technicals actually already drawn up, but you can see that this support line here, let me extend it out to the right really quick and let me make this one larger so everybody can see it. But there we go. So you can see these technicals right here. It's actually looking pretty good. I mean, it's staying above this line, but just with the chart set up right now, I would never trade this. It's a really low price stock, and yeah, it did run a while ago, during COVID, off of COVID news, but right now it's just not looking too good. It does look like it's kind of consolidating on this trend line to the upside, but I just wouldn't trade it just based off of the price. And it's just one of those very volatile stocks that it's just something that I don't trade. I like to trade the blue chips, more like Facebook, JP Morgan, Cat, Space. Space is about the riskiest trades I go just about.
Yeah, I mean, it's still trending up about 1.24% today, and it's holding its ground, SPCE. But back to INO, it's just a mess in my opinion. I mean, it has these huge run-ups, then it falls down from $34 all the way down to $10 in a couple months. Honestly, it's just a mess in my opinion, and personally, I wouldn't trade it. But if you are holding on, a certain catalyst, or if you think they're gonna make a great, advancement in the pharmaceutical field, then that would give you a reason to hold. But it did go from $3 to $34 in less than a year. So it had a great year so far, and it's still holding its ground, sitting right now at about $12.50. It's just not a play for me, just because it's so volatile, and I just don't I don't see any amazing opportunity with it. So great question. And now let's take a look at the next question. We have Jackson, great video. Thank you for that. And then let's see. With the next question, we have N saying, thank you for the great video, like always. What do you think about SBE and BLNK? So SBE, what do you think?
This actually looks pretty good. They had a really nice run up recently, and it just looks like a stock that could keep running. I'm not sure I'd buy in right now. I'd make them probably break around 1550 to the upside before I get in again, but it looks like a stock that could keep running, that's for sure.
You want to know what this stock reminds me of? SHLL. They were just like this one kind of. They are an acquisition company, Switchback Energy Acquisition. Setups like this they have a lot of potential, right? This stock can potentially go up to $20 in the next month. No one knows that, but they have a lot of potential, but they are extremely, extremely volatile. We can see that on from September 15th all the way to September 28th, this stock went from $10.50 all the way up to $14.35, then all the way back down to $11.11, and then all the way back up to $16.45. And then it went back down to lows of $13.25, and now it looks like it's heading back up. This stock is very volatile, and the implied volatility is pretty high. So the options are pretty expensive. In my opinion, it's a high risk, high reward trade. I think it's very risky, very volatile. Personally, I would never play it. It kind of reminds me like SHLL, which is now HYLN. Just be careful with these hype stocks. I'm sure you're seeing this stock all over Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, StockTwits. Everyone's pumping it up. Just be careful because a lot of these stocks end up having a major pullback, kind of like HYLN is having right now. We could see it went from about $55 all the way down to $28 in about 2 to 3 weeks. So just
and apparently there was a merger with them, which is why probably part of the reason why they're going up.
Which what ticker?
With SBE, it says merger alert GHIV SBE and LGC. Remind investors of investigations concerning the mergers of these companies. So gotcha. They're actually a warning of an possible investigation, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a catalyst for it to run up. SHLL is kind of the same way. And then we have BLNK. What do you think of that one?
BLNK?
Yep.
Yeah, this one actually kind of looks like it's going down to me now. It's another one of those crazy runners, just like the last one though. This one looks just like HYLN also, and it just almost seems like it's at the end of its, you could see it ran up here, and it just seems like it's starting to turn back over now. So I wouldn't, get calls on it. If anything, I would look at puts, but other than that, I wouldn't really trade it. And personally, I wouldn't trade it at all. But
Okay, awesome. So with
it
that
does
being,
kind of look like it's going to go down.
all right. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty neutral on it. I don't love the setup overall. I think it's just best to stay neutral on it right now. If we get to a major support level like that $6 area, or even if we go back up to like the $12 area, I think it would be maybe worth playing because those two are major support levels and resistance levels. So I think if it goes to one of those levels, it might be worth watching. But we'll just play it by ear. So with that being said, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, really, my main insight is going to be just the S&P 500. It's looking really good, today at the end of the day, especially. And you can see that it hit this support at around 34.22 on the S&P 500 futures. And you can see it's just holding the support all day long. And I really like it. And it looks really strong right now, specifically. And I think that we might actually open up green tomorrow if this continues.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, anything can happen in this market. Like a random black swan event can happen in the middle of the night and the market can shoot down or it can shoot up. But we're in a crazy market right now, guys. If you guys can survive this, you'll most likely be able to survive any type of market. We are just seeing a ton of crazy volatility, a lot of black swan events, a lot of things that just don't make sense. So we're in a very volatile market. It's so important to, not over leverage, have risk management in place, and to just be careful because we are in a crazy market. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Tom and I really appreciate all of the support you guys give to the channel through the form of hitting that like button, commenting down below, and of course, subscribing. We're just under 30,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for all of the support. If you guys want to try out the new options day trading bot, you can click the stocked up options alerts link in the description down below. And if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.